Hello friends, and welcome back to Swift Lessons for session number 4 of my Iconic Riff series. Thus far we've explored riffs from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and now we're jumping into 3 iconic riffs of the 1980s that will serve you as excellent warm-ups. As always, I got all the tabs available for you at patreon.com/swiftlessons. You can support the channel there and gain access to a ton of extra resources for all my popular YouTube guitar lessons. Now, let's get started. Okay, close look at the fretboard, getting started with riff number 1. This is a really powerful riff from guitarist Agnes Young that kicked off side 2 of ACDC's 7th album, talking about Back in Black in the key of E. It's gonna sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, great for stretching out your hands. Okay, so all that looked pretty flashy, but it's actually quite easy. We're starting off with 3 basic chords, the E major, the D major, and the A major with a bar. Okay, barring across the D string, the G string, and also the B string, even though we're not going to strum that note at first. Okay, so take that E major chord and just play down. Okay, focusing your pick for each of these chords on the low notes. That way it sounds like a 5 chord or a power chord. Alright, then go to the D major chord, play down, up, down. Okay, avoiding the high E string, okay? Alright, so far you have. Alright, then go to the A major chord and play down, up, down on that chord, making sure not to strike the B string. Alright, you put that together, we have. Alright, next we're going to have a really cool blues lick to get yourself back to that E chord. Okay, so that is 3-0 on the high E string, 3-0 on the B string, and then on the G string 2nd fret, bend it up, return back, and then do a pull off to 0 before going to the E major chord. Alright, and if you're playing an acoustic guitar, obviously it's a little difficult to bend that G string 2nd fret. You could also do a hammer and then pull that way. Okay? Alright, for an equally cool kind of acoustic version of that lick. Alright, so far you have real slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Just like that. Okay, next we're going to repeat the chordal section of that riff. Then we're going to climb and really stretch out our hands. And slide away on that last note. Okay, so that was between the A string and the low E string. 2-4, 2-5, 2-6, 2-7, and a slide away back to E major. And you put that entire riff together and it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and... Alright, and then that gets you right back to the E chord to start the whole thing again as the vocal comes in. Okay, very good everybody. Now we're jumping into riff number 2, Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll, also in the key of E. Now this was news to me. This was actually originally written and performed by a band called Merrill and the Arrows in 1975. But it's a really infectious riff. It gave Joan Jett one of the biggest hits of the 80s, so I'm going to teach it to you nonetheless. Now, the riff is great for counting and also for developing your rhythm technique. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's break that down. Okay, so rock guitar 101 right here. It starts off very, very simple with an E5 chord, 2nd fret of the A string and the low E string open. The first measure sounds like this. Okay, so very simple. That's just down, down, only hitting the low E string and the A string. Repeat that again. Then slap the strings. All right, the pick landed on the E string. I'm gonna bend the 3rd fret of the low E string. And that'll transition to the 4 chord. Now you got to be able to count that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that was slap, bend on the 4 end. All right, now going on to the next measure we have. Okay, so that was an A5, down, down. I got the second fret of the D string and the open A string. All right, then I'll go down, down on a B5 chord. Second fret of the A string, fourth fret of the D string. Slap the strings. All right, then I've got that bend again. Low E string, third fret. Okay, so that's 2 measures of music right there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now we're on to measure number 3. It's just a repeat of measure number 1. All right, then we're gonna finish it up with measure number 4. We have. Okay, so that was the A5 chord, down, down. The B5 chord just once. The low E string open. And then a high power chord. 7th fret of the A string, 9th fret of the D string. This is an E5 as well. Okay, so the same chord that we have here, an octave apart. To finish up this riff. You put all that together and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and just like that. Okay, very well done everybody. We have 2 more iconic riffs in the bag. Now we're jumping into our third and final riff for this session. This is a riff that I must have played thousands of times as a teenager. It's fantastic for developing your finger dexterity and also your alternate picking accuracy. It is Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train. Of course, the riff is by the legendary guitarist Randy Rhoads. It's gonna sound like this. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is another one that's really good for stretching out your hands and getting that warm up. So we're starting off with an F sharp 5 chord, 2nd fret of the low E string, that's the root note, and the C sharp here on the 4th fret of the A string. Okay, measure number 1 sounds like this. Okay, so that was the low E string, 2, 2. The A string 4, back to 2. Reach your pinky up to 5 on the A string, back to 2. Then 4 on the A string, and then back to 2 once more. Okay, now measure number 2 we're gonna play. Okay, so that was the A string 2, then to the E string 5, 4, 5, back to 2 on the A, and then low E string 5, 4, 0. Okay, that's 2 measures of music right there. Let's see if we can put them together at a slow tempo. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... Okay, very, very good. Now on to measure number 3. It sounds like this. Okay, so that was just slightly different from measure number 1. So that was 2, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, and then on the A string, 4, 2. To finish it up, then we're going on to measure number 4. 2 very simple power chords, D5 and E5. So a power chord on the 5th fret. Okay, that's 2 beats right there. Then on beat number 3, move it up 1 whole step. Okay, now let's see if we can put that entire riff together, and I'm going to invite you to control the dynamics with me by employing a palm mute. So taking your palm way down to the saddle, making sure that those low notes are nice and dampened. Just like that. Okay, going through the entire riff. Nice slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 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 4, and... You can resolve there on the A major chord. Congratulations everybody, you have 3 iconic riffs in the bag. Alright friends, thanks so much for checking out this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Up next, we're going to get into some iconic riffs of the 1990s, so let me know if you have any suggestions down below. Big thanks to my supporters at patreon.com/SwiftLessons. Thanks to you guys, I got many more lessons coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.